Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos and on this video this afternoon I am going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference building up to the Arsenal versus Manchester United game tomorrow night, 8 o'clock kickoff at the Emirates Stadium. Like I did initially say in my preview, I am really looking forward to the game. So Solskjaer's come out with some interesting stuff during his press conference. When we got asked, what he expects going into the new year and that, and as Solskjaer is aware, he has got many expectations to exceed next year. He did actually say, during the press conference that 2020 is going to be a successful year for Manchester United, because obviously, analysing the vast majority of this year, he's mainly endured a very difficult time. So we are hopeful that it can be a totally comparison next year. Also, Solskjaer's give us some news regarding the transfers during the press conference. He's also give us some news regarding Paul Pogba, and he still obviously feels as though that Manchester United have not emulated to that level as yet. He still basically said that he does expect ups and downs, but obviously he wants to see more ups than downs basically. He did also say, he got asked at the beginning of the video that he said Manchester United are improving. Man United are improving. And he knows that obviously we are in a transition period. So obviously he's hopeful that Manchester United can get through this transition period and all that. So he has got a lot of confidence in him as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But Man United are determined to give him more time at the football club, But, we're going into this game against Arsenal with back-to-back Premier League wins, which is very, very good. So that does give us a lot of confidence. So if we can beat Arsenal, that will be our third win on the trot in the Premier League. And that will put us 10 points in front of Arsenal, and just put us 1 point behind top four. And Solskjaer also, recently revealed that he is convinced that we can get that top four this season, as long as, we can keep the consistency up. We haven't been too good away from home this season. Obviously the victory against Burnley was only our third away win in the Premier League, away from home this season. So if we can beat Arsenal, that will be our fourth victory away from home so far this season. So far this season we've scored 32 goals in the Premier League. We've registered 31 points from 20 Premier League games, and we know that's still nowhere near good enough to our standards in that. But he did actually say, we are making games, suit our style. So that's a positive, he came out with. He also mentioned during the press conference, about, like, with the replacement of Lukaku, he got asked about that, and obviously he knows that Mason Greenwood has come onto the horizon, and Mason Greenwood has made a fantastic impact. So I don't think actually Solskjaer has got an element of concern regarding his attacking options. Solskjaer is still convinced that we can get a striker in at least in January. It isn't assured that we will make any signings in January, but I think Solskjaer is orchestrating on recommending two players into the football club in January. As you all know, we have missed out on Erling Haaland. He obviously, he got confirmed recently that he's officially joined Borussia Dortmund for just over £17 million, and he signed a contract with them until 2024. So now, obviously, due to that, Solskjaer will have an alternative in that. So obviously, overall, anyway, there's a lot of players on his current agenda in that. But I'm determined to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all the way, and I'm hopeful if he does get the time that he's demanding at the football club, if he's to get at least a couple of years, maybe even longer, then maybe, when we can replicate, what Alex Ferguson did. Because don't forget, Ferguson, didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. I'm still very sceptical, that Solskjaer will invoke Ferguson's legacy, to save him at Manchester United. But, we will see what happens in that. So it's looking likely, Paul Pogba is going to be playing in this game against Arsenal at the Emirates. Of course, Paul Pogba, he's set to make his first start in 3 months. He did come on as a substitute against Watford He also came on as a substitute in the game against Newcastle and made an absolutely fantastic impact, did Paul Pogba, because initially, was out over an ankle injury for 3 months. Then obviously, he had an illness, wasn't even part of the squad, for the game against Burnley and that. So Solskjaer's confirmed he will be fully fit, which is very, very good news. And we are aware the difference he does make in that midfield. So he's going to be back. I've got some bad news now regarding Scott McTominay. Reportedly McTominay is out for up to, could be out for up to 8 weeks, according to recent reports. Solskjaer did initially say that he will be out for like 3 to 4 weeks, or something like that, but now it could be 8 weeks. So actually, injury could be more severe than what we initially first presumed. So Solskjaer did confirm that he's damaged the ligaments in his knee. He obviously, came off with this injury in the 4-1 win against Newcastle, and not too long ago, McTominay, just recovered from an ankle injury. But he's going to be big missing that midfield, because I've got to say, McTominay has been revelation this season for Manchester United and that, and he's made a fantastic impact. And whether he can keep the consistency up or not, I do not know. But I've got to say, him alongside Fred have blended very, very well together in our midfield. But I'm hopeful, that they can keep the consistency up. There'll be no Bay or Fosu-Mensah, I don't think, in the game tomorrow. They've currently been out of injury for a long time. Bay's been out of an injury since pre-season. Fosu-Mensah's been out of an injury since he was on loan with Fulham. Diego Dalot, I think he's now back, Diego Dalot, because he played for the youngsters the other week. Diego Dalot, and then Solskjaer said from then on, he should be fine and that. But, Solskjaer did the right thing, he rested key players in the 2-0 win against Burnley and that, he obviously, rested down Wan-Bissaka. Luke Shaw didn't start, but he came on in the game. So obviously against Burnley, it was Young and Brandon Williams that were playing at them full-back positions, and I thought they did really, really well, to be fair. Obviously in the midfield, he went with Fred and Matic. So I do presume in this game against Arsenal, it probably will be Fred and Paul Pogba in our midfield, definitely. Whether Mason Greenwood starts or not, I do not know. I think Solskjaer needs to start playing him more regularly. Due to how consistent he's been. Mason Greenwood has scored 8 goals so far this season in 22 first team appearances. I think it's something like that anywhere. But he's been an absolutely fantastic player for us. I think this season he's replicating, what he did with the reserves last season. Mason Greenwood, don't forget, only made his full debut for the football club, in the 2-0 defeat to Cardiff at the end of last season and that. Solskjaer will go the 4-2-3-1 against Arsenal because he has been going that formation on a regular basis this season. In some games the formation's worked, but in the vast majority of the games the formation hasn't seemed to suit our standards. I did initially say maybe Solskjaer, should maybe go the 4-3-3 or maybe revert back to 3 at the back. But so he will make quite a few changes from the 2-0 win against Burnley. But like I did say on my preview yesterday, I'm very confident we can beat Arsenal. Arsenal are in a bad run of form. They've only won 1 of their last 12 Premier League games. And their last victory was 3-1 against West Ham early on. I think it was early on this month they had beaten West Ham. Arsenal are now 11 points behind Chelsea, so I'm very sceptical, that they're going to get the top 4 this season. Mikel Arteta, of course, this is his 3rd game in charge of Arsenal, so from an Arsenal perspective, obviously, it's a must-win game for them. Obviously, so far he's drawn 1 and he's lost 1. They drew 1-1 with Bournemouth. They obviously lost at home to Chelsea 2-1. Arsenal, were actually very, very good in that game. In a lot of aspects of the game, they were good. They created chances. They dominated the possession. Aubameyang scored a really, really good goal. I just thought, where there was really, really unlucky was Arsenal. Don't forget, Arsenal have got quite a few injuries as well. They've obviously got Callum Chambers injured. He came off injured in the 2-1, defeat to Chelsea. They've got Socrates out with a concussion. They've got Kieran Tierney out, one of their summer signings. They've got Hector Bellerin out, Rob Holding, Daniel Ceballos, who obviously they got on loan from Real Madrid. They've got Klasnic out. Granit Xhaka's out with an illness. So Arsenal have got quite a few injuries. But I think going into this game, Arsenal will be hopeful that at least some of them, can be fully fit for the game. But my own perception on Arteta is I don't think he's the right manager for Arsenal. Like I said, I know he knows the traditions of the football club and that, basically just like Solskjaer, so in that aspect they replicate each other. I think overall Solskjaer's a better manager than Mikel Arteta. I said Solskjaer hasn't really got a pedigree behind him, but obviously he's managed before he came to Manchester United, as Arteta has never managed before he got recommended in to Arsenal. Obviously Arteta worked alongside Pep Guardiola at Man City as a coaching assistant for around 3 years. But he was a good player for Arsenal. He served 5 years with Arsenal as a player. He played for the likes of Rangers, Sociedad, Barcelona, Everton, also during his playing career. But I just don't think he's got any intuition on how to manage Arsenal. So Arsenal, I think, are determined to definitely back him in that. Obviously, Arsenal need to make further more investment in their squad next year. I think they also need to orchestrate on getting rid of some more players. But I think Arsenal have definitely got to address their defensive deficiencies. They did get David Luiz in. He's a centre half. Arsenal saw it that, he was a cheap solution. But obviously Arsenal could have got a much better centre-half in than him. But they've got a lot of good players of Arsenal. They can show good attacking intent and they can score goals. Aubameyang and Lacazette, do replicate each other well. Well, I think some aspects of their game they replicate each other. But I think when they play together, they blend in well. That's when they are in good form. I think Nicolas Pepe is good for them. There was question marks saying why didn't he play against Chelsea. And I thought he was poor earlier on this season, but I think recently he has rejuvenated himself as Nicolas Pepe. I also think, Xhaka can do well when he wants to. I think Ozil is now served his 2 requirements at Arsenal. I think he does obviously, still play in that, does Mesut Ozil, but I think he's probably one player that Arsenal needs to consider getting rid of. And I think Arsenal have made quite a few mistakes in that. I think one mistake they did make was obviously getting rid of Alexis Sanchez, because you could say he was arguably one of their best players in that. So what they should have done is they should have got rid of Ozil instead of Sanchez, because Sanchez enjoyed a good 3-4 years, was it, with Arsenal and that. But obviously, Sanchez has had a good career anywhere prior to his 18 months he had with us. Because he wasn't good enough at Old Trafford. He didn't exceed expectations as we all expected him to. And don't forget, Sanchez played under one of the best managers in the world, and that's Pep Guardiola. He played under his guidance during his tenure with Barcelona. But yeah, Arsenal shouldn't have definitely got rid of him. And obviously, Arsenal and Man United is not... This fixture is not as iconic, as it was back in the day. Like I did mention on my preview yesterday, because this used to be a title decider back in the old generation, when we had Ferguson, when they had Arsene Wenger, the 2 longest serving managers in English football. Ferguson served, 26, 27 years at Man United. Wenger served 22 years with Arsenal. And they both had good legacies. Like I said, Wenger's legacy is totally comparison to, Alex Ferguson's and that. And I think Arsenal got rid of Arsene Wenger too late. I think, they should have got rid of him at an earlier point. And I think you got to say he left a lot of deadwood behind, definitely. And, but yeah, but I'm going to predict a Man United win. I'm going to go with 2-1 to Man United and that. And, the fixture early on this season was 1-1 at Old Trafford. This fixture last season in the league was actually 2-0 to Arsenal. And that was actually our first defeat under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era in the Premier League. We beat them in the Cup last season by 3 goals to 1. And I think it was 2-2 at Old Trafford last season. That. And don't forget, Arsenal's record against the top 6 sides is absolutely appalling. They haven't beaten us at Old Trafford, since 2006 in the Premier League. So to them, in the Premier League, Old Trafford is, of course, a fortress. It definitely is. But don't forget, Arsenal were fantastic back in the day. Don't forget, they had a lot of good players in that. They're the only team, don't forget, so far in the Premier League era to go undefeated in one season. And that, so yeah. But I'm really looking forward to the game, definitely in that. And we have got games coming up thick and fast. Don't forget, we've got Wolves coming up. That's in the FA Cup third round. That's going to be a difficult game. We've got City coming up in the Cowbell Cup first leg. Then we've got Norwich. Then we've got Liverpool. So games are coming up thick and fast. Like I said, I think we can get top four this season. I did initially say at the start of this season that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top four. So in that aspect, we can't get Champions League football. But there's two routes we can get Champions League football, and that's either finishing in the top four, or of course, winning the Europa League and that. And we are into knockout stages of that competition. And if we could get some silverware on the board, that would put us up a level. It'd put more confidence into the team, and it would restore more winning mentality at Manchester United if we could do that, because we have lacked silverware in the last 6 or 7 years. And, we have been a toxic football club anywhere for the last 6 or 7 years and that. And as Solsjaker was saying, we're not in that commanding position, that we currently should be in. Reflecting on the amount of money that's been spent into the football club, recruiting new players in. I think we've spent nearly around £1 billion on recruiting new players. Not only that, we've got players on big contracts. And, we've obviously sacked 3 managers so far since the Alex Ferguson era. Moyes obviously, left after 10 months. Moyes has just recently been appointed as West Ham's new manager. Obviously, he's reuniting with West Ham because he was with them not too long ago, because West Ham did sack Manuel Pellegrini. But yeah, David Moyes enjoyed a 10 month tenure at Man United. He's had the shortest tenure with the club since Ferguson left, and that was the mistake Ferguson did make, was recommending David Moyes in. Then obviously Louis van Gaal came in. We won some silverware under Van Gaal, and that was the FA Cup, but his philosophy wasn't right for the football club. And obviously, Jose Mourinho got sacked after he enjoyed a 2.5-year tenure with the football club. So he's had the longest tenure at Man United since the Alex Ferguson era. We did win the Europa League and the League Cup in Jose Mourinho's first season. Jose Mourinho spent a substantial amount at Manchester United. He spent just, was it 400 million or just under 400 million pounds on around 11 players. So obviously analyse it now, the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's. So Solskjaer is still inheriting the vast majority of them. Take that into account. So we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. Solskjaer has been under intense pressure for the vast majority of this season, because we've obviously enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for around 30 years in that. And obviously, Solskjaer expected us to be in much more of a better position, than we've obviously been in this season. But, there's still plenty of time to turn things around. So take that into account. There's still, 18 games remaining. There's still a lot of points to play for. And, like I said, we're not on City's level yet. We're not on Liverpool's level yet. We're not going to win the league for several years. That's my own perception on it. We haven't won the league since 2013. That was in Alex Ferguson's last season, so we haven't won it now for almost 7 years. So that just proves how inconsistent, Manchester United have been in that. How Manchester United have been and all that. But, I think, reflect on, the wins against Tottenham and Man City, you can say they're the games that have saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club, because I think if we hadn't won any of them games, I think probably, Solskjaer would have been sacked by now. But like I've said on my videos, we've had some good games this season where we've actually performed well. We've had some good periods and that, and, Solskjaer was saying that, but he says, we've struggled to keep that consistency up. But obviously, we do react to bad defeats, because the last team we lost to was Watford, and then since the Watford game, we're beating Newcastle 4-1, we're beating Burnley 2-0, so you've got to credit them, the players in that have reacted well from that 2-0 defeat to Watford, but we've just got to do well more against lower opposition, so we've got to basically replicate, what we've done against elite opposition so far this season. But Solskjaer now has been here over a year. He's now into his second year at the football club. He expects our team going ahead into next season to obviously have a lot more challenges to obviously meet. But he said he still expects a lot from the team this season, because we have obviously got something to play for. Like I said, the top four. We've got the Carabao Cup to play for. So don't fully disregard this season that. But like I said, we are in transition, and Solskjaer is aware of that. But we expect a better year next year than what we've obviously enjoyed for the vast majority of this year. But yeah, and Solskjaer of course is on a 3-year contract at the football club, worth £7.5 million pounds a year. But and he did really, really well when he first came in. Don't forget, when he was the interim manager, he did really, really well in that 3-month period. The results were good, the performances were good, and he exceeded expectations and that. But whether his managerial tenure at Manchester United works out or not, we'll still never forget, what he has done for the football club, because he was a great player for us for 11 years. He flourished under Ferguson's guidance. And I think as a manager, it's totally comparison to how he was as a player, but he does deserve more time at the club. I don't only think more signings are needed next year. I think also more players need to go next year, because there's definitely still problematic players at the football club that do need to be moved on. I think it would be beneficial as well if we could get a director of footballing, because I did initially say that's one of the structural changes that we need at the football club, and it was a shame that we didn't get a director of footballing during the course of the summer transfer window. I think Solskjaer said a while ago he's happy with the club's current structure, so he insisted that we don't really need a director of football. And but I think Ed Woodward's perceptions totally comparison, because he was keen on recruiting a new director of footballing to the football club and that. I will be back with another video, I think, later on. I'm going to give you an update on some more transfer news and that, of what's been going on in the mainstream media. So we're definitely not getting Haaland now, because he's going to Borussia Dortmund. So we've got to get the right calibre players in next year that can elevate us forward and get us back to being a competitive elite level football club. We've got to address the deficiencies in the squad. That midfield, we've got to reinvest in that midfield. That's one of the main priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up. I think we also need a couple of strikers. I think we probably need a right winger. There's possibly other areas in the squad as well that do need to be addressed. So take that into account. And, we're determined to back Solskjaer. I don't think we're giving him a spending spree of... Well, I don't think we like giving him 200 million or 250 million like it said before. I think it actually said we're giving him unlimited funds. So we're determined to give him whatever he wants, to buy, the players that he does want to recommend in. But I expect us to get at least 1 or 2 players in January, definitely. But like I said, it's not always about overpaying for players. It's not always about spending big on players. It doesn't always guarantee you success. So maybe it would be beneficial if we was sensible over our recruitment next year and that. But I've got to say, a lot of players have really rejuvenated themselves. Rashford's in really, really good form. He's on 16 goals this season so far for the football club. Martial's on 10 goals, so between them they've scored 26 goals. Both Martial and Rashford now in all competitions are nearly on 200 appearances for the football club. James has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. He's been an absolute revelation. I think Solskjaer's actually not overplayed him this season. Lingard's recently rejuvenated himself. I think he's done quite well. I think we'll play him against Arsenal because he's got a good goal scoring record against Arsenal. I think he scored quite a few times against them last season. And I've been impressed with McTominay, but unfortunately he's out of injury. I've been very, very impressed there with Fred. I think Brandon Williams has been fantastic at left-back for us. I think now Solskjaer views him as his first choice left-back. Harry Maguire's addressed our defensive deficiencies. I think Lindelof and him have blended very well together in our back line. You know, Bissaka's done well at right back. You know, De Gea's done really well. I think he made mistakes early on this season. He made obviously a bad howler against Watford, and he made a lot of mistakes towards the back end of last season. But I think prior to that, David De Gea has enjoyed a good career with Man United. I think he's had a good 7.5 years out of the 8 years he's been here. And David De Gea is now into his 9th season at Manchester United. And David De Gea has now nearly made 400 appearances in all competitions for the football club and that. You know, but like I said, really looking forward to this game tomorrow. As you saw my preview earlier for the Man City Everton game, that's also going to be a close game. But I do expect Man City to come out on top because, you know, City have got a really good home record. Despite I think they've lost twice at home this season, lost to us and they lost to Wolves. But since Pep Guardiola took over at Man City, you know, City have won like 52 of their 67 Premier League home games. You know, City have only lost 3 of their last 32 games at home in the Premier League. And Pep Guardiola has now won 100 Premier League games as Manchester City manager. And that's actually now a record because he's become the fastest manager to reach 100 wins in the Premier League. Don't forget, you know. Yeah, so we'll be on with some more transfer news soon. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon.